Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhavatapapranashinne, Ananda Ghanamurtaye, Jnana Bhakti Pradayinne, Matastubhyam, Namo Namaha. Jai Ma. This room where I'm sitting right now was my mother's mandir, Her whole mandir was here and she used to sit here and do her jap. And she used to do more jap than any of us. If she sat in the morning at say 8:39, she would not come out till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She was unbelievable. And she was the kind of person who did not want Diksha. That's another story. She was very stubborn. She said, no, I can't sit and do jap like how you people do. Whole day you people are doing jap, you and dad. I am not the kind, I will not do all those things. So I had to persuade her a lot to get her Diksha. Finally, she agreed and she said, tell Bhaskaranandji, I will do only 10 minutes, not more than that. So Swamiji laughed and he says, okay, let her do 10 minutes, it's fine. So I said, okay, you do 10 minutes. And then when she started doing, it was so many hours, 8:30 to I think 8:39 till 1 o'clock. And we had to actually tell her now lunch is ready. So that was all again Ma's kripa. There was a devotee who went to Ma and said, Ma, what do I do? In my family, I'm the only one who prays so much, and believes in all this and does jap, puja, everything, dhyan. But my entire family, they do not believe in any of this. So what do I do? They are on another track completely. So Ma said, beautiful. She said, a family, say husband and wife and children, are like a cot which has 4 legs. So if one leg goes towards God, he's pulling the rest of the cot, right? The entire cot. So where will the other 3 go? They can't go in that direction. They have to follow. So if one person does it in the house, everybody will follow. So don't worry about it. It was so nice and it's so true. So true. My father was the only one who was doing it. Finally, it was me, my mother, my brother, my sister-in-law. Everybody is on the path today. So that is Ma's Daya. Anyway, we were talking about Appaji. Now, Appaji, like I said, had a different guru. But he was a Param Bhakt of Ma. He was completely devoted to Ma. He was in Pune, like I said, right behind the ashram. He was staying in some devotee's house. And when he could walk, because in the latter part of his life, he could not walk. It was very difficult. People had to hold him and take him to the room and all that. So when he could walk and all that, he would come to Ma's ashram. And if anybody of you have seen Pune ashram, you will know what I'm saying. Right from the gate till Ma's room, he would never walk it up. He would lie down near the gate and roll his body, roll himself, completely roll and go to Ma's room. And when he was asked why he was doing that, he said, how can I put my feet on that bhumi, on that earth, Mother Earth, where Ma has walked? How can I put my feet on that ground where Ma's charan are there? He was unbelievable. Once I remember Swami Bhaskaranandji had personally gone to his house to garland him, and he announced that he's a representative of Ma, Appaji. So that was Appaji, and that is the person I'm talking about. So I used to go to Appaji all the time. One time I remember I went there and I bowed down and I did pranam to him. And I said, Appaji, apna haath ab mere sar pe rakho. So in English it is like, bless me, put your hand on my head and bless me. He says, nah, मैं तुमको भस्म नहीं करना चाहता हूँ. I don't want to. If I put my hand on your head, you'll become ashes, you know. भस्म हो जाओगे. So I used to laugh. I said, don't say that. Just bless me. So he said, तुम 100 साल जियोगी. I said, Appaji, you have just given me a curse. आपने तो मुझे श्राप दे दिया. 100 साल? I said, I don't want to live so long. He says, no, you're not aware of what I'm saying. You are there with Ma. And you have to do so much work for Ma. Look at me. I'm almost 90. That time he was, I think, 90. He says, look at me, how much work I'm doing. So you have to do so much work for Ma. I said, me? I don't have the capacity to do anything for Ma. You know, I'm too little. So he says, no, you'll have to do a lot of work for Ma. So that was his blessing, I guess, you know. Ma never wanted any publicity, or Ma never believed in any of this. But we as children, we have so much love for Ma that, you know, I want to tell the entire world that there was somebody like Ma Anandamayee who walked on our earth. And please be aware of it, that she was with us. And, you know, be blessed like how we are blessed. Everybody is her children, you know. It's not like I am her child and you are not her children. It's not like that. She is a mother for everybody. There was a lovely incident again. You know, I'm bifurcating, but, you know, as I'm remembering, I'm telling you. There was a devotee who came to Ma. It's in the book again. I don't know why I'm repeating everything which is in the book. You have to read the book because there are lots of stories in the book. There was a devotee who came to Ma, and he was a very busy man, you know, or constantly working in the office and things like that. So he never really got the time to come and meet Ma. So one day he came to Ma in the evening, you know, when the office is over and all that, then he would come running to meet Ma, and as and when. So he said, Ma, you know, these girls and these sadhikas who are staying with you all the time, they're so lucky because they're constantly being blessed by you and your grace is being showered on them constantly. I come once in a while, you know, because I'm so busy with work. You must have forgotten me, you know, like you must be forgetting me. And then when I come, then, you know, you see me and then it's okay, you know. So Ma just looked at him and smiled. And Ma said, it's not like that. Then she gives an example, you know. She says there's a mother who has, say, 10 children. They are all her children, right? It's not like this one is a child and those 9 are not her children. She has to cook in the kitchen. So she goes to the kitchen to cook. She switches on the gas and all these 10 children are in the hall and they start screaming because they want the mother. So the mother comes running out, switches off the gas and comes running out and says, okay, now what do I do with the 10 children? I have to keep them occupied, otherwise they won't let me work. So she gives everybody one toy to play with. This one gets some plasticine, somebody gets something else like stones to play with, whatever. And she gives all the 10 children some toy. And she goes back to the kitchen and starts cooking again. 9 children get busy playing with whatever toys they've got, but one child goes on screaming. So she comes running back and says, now what do you want? So she gives him another toy. She goes back to the kitchen. Again he's screaming. Again she comes out. Again she changes the toy and gives him something else. Again she goes to the kitchen and this goes on. And he goes on crying and starts throwing away all the things that she's giving him. Finally, what does the mother do? She has to come back, pick up the child and hold him on her chest, right? To console him. That's what Ma said, that, you know, everybody is my child over here. But there are a few who scream out and say, we don't want any of your toys. Whatever we are doing in life, somebody is an architect, somebody is a diamond merchant, somebody is something and somebody is something, right? These are all the toys that Bhagwan has given, Ma has given to everybody. And people are busy doing all that. Building structures, buildings, constructions, making jewelry, doing this, doing that. And they say, we are too busy, we don't have the time. We don't even have the time to sit down for 10 minutes to do jump. They don't have time. But there's one person who says, I want nothing except my mother. that's when she picks you up. So it's not like she's not there. She's constantly with us. But we are not reaching out. That is the problem. Anyway, back to the story. So I used to go to Appaji all the time. And one time I went with, by that time, like, we knew each other. We were familiar with each other. But like I said, Appaji never used to look directly at us and talk. He used to look in the air, clap his hands, and do this, that, He was like a child. He was so sweet. So he went on doing that. Now one day when we went, by that time he couldn't walk. So he was like on a chair. And then he would get tired also, sitting with people. And we were just 10 of us in that hall that day. All Ma devotees basically. Baba was with me, Ashok Baba. Swami Parabrahmanand ji was with me. She's no more. And there were other Ma devotees, local Pune devotees, who were sitting with me in that hall. After some time, after the satsang was over or whatever, people wanted to have his darshan, then Appaji wanted to get up and go to his room. So he tried to get up. So immediately Ashok Baba got up, got hold of him, and slowly took him to the room to sit down over there. So he was in the room with Appaji, and all of us were outside in the hall. After a little time, a few minutes I think, Ashok Baba came running out and he says, Didi, chalo, Appaji bula rahe hain, chalo. Means, come on, Appaji is calling you. So I said, no, how can Appaji call me? He doesn't even know my name. He just knows me by face, but how does he know my name? What did he tell you that you think he's called me? He said, don't argue with me, just come. So I said, no, but he doesn't know my name. He could have called anybody else. How do you know that he called me? I went on doing that. So everybody said, stop it, just go, he's calling you. You're so lucky, this, that. Everybody said that. That he's called you and he's not called us, So I said, okay, I'll go. So I went with Ashok Baba. I was a little nervous, but I went. I went inside. He was sitting on a rocking chair. That wooden chair, old-fashioned wooden chair that you have. He was sitting on that. And he had a little booklet in his hand. A little booklet. And Baba and I stood in front of him. And he was chanting. First he did the Dhyan mantra, which was in the book. And then he started chanting. What was he chanting? The Gayatri. Now see, I am a kind of person who listens to Ma to the hilt. And Ma has clearly said, without authority, without diksha, without initiation, you cannot do the Gayatri. So I always used to object to this. If anybody did that in our ashram, there was an incident, which I think I can narrate to you. There was a Mahatma in our Almora ashram. And I was there one day, and he was sitting in the courtyard, and he had played the Gayatri. He was playing the Gayatri on the tape recorder. Now, like I said earlier also, there are certain mantras and certain things which you can do only when your Gurudev gives you the authority. Like the Mahamrityunjay jap and all these different japs, So if the Gurudev does not give you authority, you can't do it because they're very potent mantras, So you have to be very careful. Because sometimes if you do it without authority, the whole effect is reverse. So one has to be careful. And these are Ma's words, okay? So he was sitting in the courtyard and he was playing this. So I asked one of the sevaks of Swami Bhaskaranandji that who is playing this, So he said, just put cotton wool in your ears and don't say a word because it's a Mahatma who's doing it. So I said, in Ma's ashram, when Ma doesn't like all this and she's always said things like this, so how come he's doing it? So he says, I know that you'll go and tell him. I said, I will. He said, I'm getting out of this situation. You can say whatever you want to say. I said, fine. Those days I was in plain clothes. I was in salwar kurta when this happened. So I went there and I spoke to him. And I said, Swamiji, what are you playing? So he says, why? I'm playing the Gayatri. It's all in my pores, in my bones, and in our blood. We are sannyasis. I said, I agree with you completely. But I am not. Why should I be exposed to something like this? which is your mantra, and you have the authority of doing it. Why do you want to disperse it? He says, look at the vibration. Or he went on arguing and saying, look at the vibration of this place, and all the gods and goddesses reside over here, and this is the beautiful thing to do. I said, I agree with you, but I am not authorized to be hearing all this. So he said, okay, fine. By that time, there were a whole lot of people who had collected, because they had come for Swami Bhaskaranji's darshan, and Swami Nirgunanji was also in the ashram at that time. So they had all come for darshan. So they started asking me, Didi, tell us, what are you talking about? We also want to know. So they all sat down and we had a satsang. Now the Mahatma Ji was listening to all this. Then he says, okay, if you say Ma's name, I have nothing further to say, because he asked me, who told you this? So I said, Ma, who else? He said, okay, fine. So he went and switched it off. And I was very happy that he did that. But I didn't say anything. And I did pranam and I said, fine. Now comes the time when I'm leaving the ashram. And so I went to do pranam to Swami Bhaskarananji, Nirgunananji. I said, I'm leaving. And I did pranam to them. And I was going out with all my luggage. So he comes from the back. I didn't know that he was behind me. And he said, Neeta. So I turned around. I said, Ji. So he says, here is the cassette that I was playing. And I promise you, I'll never do it again. I'll never play this again. I was so touched that what Ma said had some effect on him, which I was very grateful. And I said, thank you so much, Swamiji. And I took the cassette and I came home. Now, in the next video. Jai Ma. Om Bhavatapa Pranashine Ananda Ghanamurtaye Jnana Bhakti Pradayine Matastubhyam Namo Namaha. Jai Ma.